Hi everyone, it's Killshot99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead, episode number 20 in the final season. Great to see all of you guys here tonight. We've got a great episode to talk about. Before we get started, I want to give a super chat shout out to our very own Valar Game Over. Hello 99 Army Kills, great mods, channel members, PDL players, sponsors, bundles, box lovers, kills, coins, The Walking Dead fans. Great to see all of you here tonight. So, got a breakdown of tonight's episode. We're going to do some reactions. And I broke this down in about 5 different sections that I wanted to talk about. So each one has its own level of importance, I think. There was some good, I think, foreshadowing of the next few episodes in tonight's episode, so we'll talk about that. But before we get into it, I need to start out with each and every one of you, and I need you guys to give me your score in tonight's episode. I like to do this because I like to see what you guys felt, what you guys experienced, what you guys liked in tonight's episode. So from a 1 to a 10, give me your scores right now. And then, of course, I will give you my score of tonight's episode. I'll tell you where I thought it came in on the scale. So let's see. Get some of those scores posted. What do we got? And then we're going to get some of your reactions. So I see Busy Bee, 8.9. Jesus with a 8. Tim Lamore 9.2. Julia 8.5. B-Dub 8.8. Deacon 8.2. Matt Musgrave 9.3. Valar with an 8. Donnie T on the backup with an 8. Northside Queen 8. Mando with a 9. Mr. Midnight 7.5. 9.2 from Dimes. 8.5. 8.7. 7.9. All right. Yeah, all scores. We got as low as a 7.5. We got as high in the 9s. My score is 8.4. I'm giving it an 8.4 tonight. I'm going to give you several reasons why I thought it was an 8.4. I'm going to start out with the flashback scenes. I think are always good because they remind us of what we've been through with The Walking Dead. So we start out with some pretty good action. And I think some of the thought was, what does Ezekiel know? Carol's there. All of a sudden, you look up, and then she's talking to Zeke, and Zeke's gone. Like, in a blink of an eye. Zeke's a big dude, and not even a whimper out of Zeke. So, Carol manages to get away. So we've got kind of the continuation of the kidnapping. Then we have Lance's relevance, because there has to be a story told with Lance. Got to have the Eugene jail scene. So Eugene's always something bigger, something grander. The Yumi situation with Pamela. The mine shaft scene is really what pulled me down tonight. All right. So let's start out with probably the most obvious thing here. What is it that was most memorable that you guys liked the most in tonight's episode? Leave it in chat right now. And I know what almost everybody's going to type. So this is not spoilers. We've all seen it together. But go ahead and leave in chat what your favorite moment of tonight's episode was. Mine is not going to be the same as yours. Hornsby's death. Yeah, I think with most people, that's what it's going to be. So, Mr. Midnight, Julia, same thing. Matt says Lance, arrow in the neck. Yeah, I like it. Instead of arrow in the knee, I get where you're going with that. Hornsby feeding it. That's pretty sick there, Eric. But I get it. The end of Lance. I think most people. Lance, yep. Carol saving Daryl. I like that. Okay, I do like that. The Yumi speech. Carol and Daryl. Unspoken communication at the end. All good, all good. So, my favorite moment of tonight was very, very subtle. Oh, no. Lance is dead. You ain't saving him. Busy, he's gone. The That was like some bullet train bleeding. He's out. That much blood coming out of his mouth, you ain't saving him. Dead, dead, dead. Maybe we see him again walking down the train track. It'd be really cool if the train, like he's a walker, and then the train runs over him. That would be cool. All right, so my favorite moment from tonight was Lance kind of coming to his senses. And he said something very, very, very important. He said, Carol is always like 10 steps ahead. And she was. She was literally ahead of him in that little mine shaft area. We got to see the advanced walkers again. But we also saw how that played out. And I'll talk about that toward the end of the stream. All right, so let's do what we do as Walking Dead fans. We can also, we can talk candidly about what was our least favorite moment of tonight. Like maybe the most unbelievable thing. Go ahead and leave that in chat too. And then I'm going to give you mine. And this is not just for, there's 2 or 3 things that television shows always do. And if you guys have watched me for a long time, you know I bring this up on a regular basis. Number 1, in my mind, is always when there's a car chase, there's a train coming, and one car always barely beats the train, and then the other car's stuck behind the train, right? You guys have all seen that. Raise your hand if you've seen that happen on a television show more than 10 times. Give me a 999 in chat if that has happened more than 10 times. Because something happened tonight that it was just like, I don't know. It sent flashback memories of television shows and high-speed chases. Okay, so my least favorite moment tonight was when Daryl, he took the Commonwealth Guard and he banged his head up against the stone wall, and the guy didn't make a single noise, knocked him out, zip-tied his hands behind his back, and was not even worried that the guy's going to wake up, he's going to scream. So that's kind of my pet peeve with a lot of shows. It's like people just get knocked out so easily. And now granted, I've never had my head slammed into a stone wall to that extreme, but it always just serves to knock them out, right? And there's just no fear that they're going to wake up in a couple minutes and start screaming for people to hear them. What was also funny is Daryl didn't want to just go through the motions of killing him, but about 5 minutes later, he's in a shootout and, yeah, pretty much has to kill him. So why not just go ahead and finish the job right there? Why didn't Daryl just kind of, boom, just kill the guy and move on, and you don't have to worry about him waking up, or you don't have to worry about using the zip tie. So a little bit of a sidebar for you guys. All right, so give me some of your thoughts. I agree with that, Mr. Mint. They always give the villain a chance to mess up. And hopefully you see where I'm going with this, because that was part of the Lance storyline. So the reason I like some parts of tonight's episode are the same reason that I didn't like parts of tonight's episode. Here's why. They're two in the same. I do not like freeing Lance leading them kind of down a mine shaft, almost getting Carol killed, to run into Commonwealth, only to have Daryl save them. To me, that felt like a little extra. But it was important for the simple fact, what was it that Daryl and Carol were hoping to find? Leave it in chat right now. This is why I liked it. So even though I got to take points away, that's why I gave it an 8.4. I didn't like the dark tunnel. I didn't like the walkers. I didn't like how Lance was holding all of that. It never really was about finding their friends. As Lance himself said, Daryl is 10 steps ahead. It was all about getting information. When he said there are trains connecting communities, that's all they wanted to get, is they wanted to know what information he had and to get him in a situation where he was comfortable talking about it. So once they got outside and once he told them that, he's dead man. They knew. They knew he was going over there, he's going to try to grab a gun. Carol already had that arrow ready. He didn't even get a shot off. So, and Carol made us aware of that because Carol very bluntly said, well, you just wouldn't shut up. So that was her kind of complete moment of honesty. It was like, let him talk, lead me into danger, do whatever you're going to do. And then once he started talking about something that wasn't crazy, something that was legit, and Carol knew that. So that was what was so good about tonight's episode. Daryl was going to beat him into submission. Carol steps in and says, nope, this guy's lost it. We got to do something to get his trust. And once she got his trust, it was okay, what else do I need to give him to get his trust? All right, we got to leave together. She gets that. Then she lets him take her down memory lane. This is one of the original places of the Commonwealth. So she's getting him super comfortable to get him in the right mindset so he's just not babbling a bunch of incoherent things that's not going to help them. And then once he got his bearings, that's when he started telling them the information they needed. And I thought it was so beautifully done that the backdrop was good. So how many people felt some Walking Dead nostalgia when you look and you've got Daryl and Carol standing side by side in the darkness with that backdrop? That might have been the best part of tonight. They were just kind of just there leaning. And, it's just like, get to it, leave, more than you deserve. Lance says, I'm not going to make it. And Daryl's like, good. I don't care whether you make it or not. So that moment really captured what tonight's story was about. It was just getting there and then getting back to that moment and knowing that Carol and Daryl are not vulnerable. They're not weak. They're not vulnerable. They are, as Lance said, 10 steps ahead of everybody else. So it was foreshadowed to us, and it played out in the coolest way. Now, I'm probably telling you not anything that you don't know here, but the Yumiko flip was probably the least shocking thing that I've seen on The Walking Dead. Now, how it was going to come out, when it was going to come out, but was anybody here surprised that when Yumi got up there that she was going to flip? Because that was not surprising to me. What was a little bit surprising was how she kind of had Tony stand up and like, hey, he's a good dude, just like all. So what I think is going to happen is I think Yumi, this is something else that, so I wasn't surprised that she flipped. But here is something that I thought she did very well as a good lawyer. When she had Tony stand up, she's already starting to build her case. What she's going to do is she's going to use that example. She's already tainting the jury because now that he stands up, she's going to use that as an argument. Like, well, do you know what my brother did before he came here? And he's a good dude. He's your surgeon. He's accepted in the community. So why, if he can get a second chance, why can't Eugene get a second chance? You can already see how she's building her case against Pamela. So even though I wasn't surprised by the move, I thought it was pretty well done. And now, here's another question. I see some great comments in here. Heroic but not surprising. Wasn't that shocking, but nice to see her basically save her brother before doing it. Well, you know, Matt, see, that's the thing. I don't know if she was saving her brother. I think she was using her brother as as an example. Because he basically, in so many words, said, you got to do what you got to do. Sacrifice Eugene. And he was not comfortable with it. Now, I got to ask this question too. When those people left the room and Yumi was in there with Pamela, how many of y'all just wanted Yumi to finish the job right there? I mean, that's like my Walking Dead dark side. It's like, Yumi, just kill him. Just kill her. Get it over with. Let everybody revolt. You take over. You can be in charge. That was like what was going through my mind. Let's just save ourselves the whole trial. All right, so I still have a feeling. So let me ask you guys, before I give you kind of my feeling. Is Yumi going to win her defense of Eugene, or is she going to lose? No matter whether she's defending or not, leave in chat right now. I want to see what you guys think is going to happen. And then I'm going to give you my bold prediction. It was a bold move. It was a bold move to do that. I agree with you guys. I agree. I think the next thing's going to happen. You guys know. Pamela Milton is going to jury tamper. She is going to fix the jury. In next week's episode, my bold prediction right now is Pamela's going to set up the jury. She's got that kind of control over people. Which means Yumi is still going to lose. And Kel, that I agree with. So there's no way that Max and Mercer. Well, I'm not, you know what? I'm not going to say there's no way. I'm going to throw you guys a curveball here. I don't think it's going to happen. But it would be pretty shocking if Eugene were to die. I know it's a final season. I know we don't want people to die. But man, oh man, if Eugene could die and not die a coward, would that not be like the perfect full circle redemption of the character of Eugene? I mean, last week he was telling Daryl, look, I've always been a coward. I've always done whatever I had to do to stay alive. If Eugene could die and become a hero, that would be fitting. You know, Matt, I think I would too. I like Eugene. But if he could do something to save somebody else, I mean, he did turn himself in. Well, I'd like to turn myself in. Is there anything else? I acted alone, and Max Mercer, although she was present, was not a part of it. So I think that okay, that's step one of a little bit of bravery. But you know, I'd like to see a little bit more. I did like the Carol and Daryl dynamic though. And I think I think tonight's episode was really written. Let me know if you guys agree with this. I think tonight's episode was written with the Daryl Carol spinoff fully in mind. Even though that's not happening now, didn't it seem like a great setup to get us to watch the Daryl Carol spinoff? It's like, hey, this isn't that bad. We haven't seen them in a little while. This is kind of action that we'd get if they were doing a spinoff together. And then you throw the Negan and Maggie one. They ain't getting them kids back. They are not getting those kids back. That, I said this months ago to you guys, that the whole spinoff setup had to be somebody takes the kids. And lo and behold, they took the kids. Even Hornsby was babbling about the kids tonight. So I've not like dug down into the spinoff news. Maybe you guys have. I have not. All right, so the Daryl spinoff. If we can't give him Carol, who else? It ain't gonna be Negan. It ain't gonna be Maggie. Who else could be with Daryl in a spinoff? I'm telling you who I would like to see. There's only one. There's only one in my mind that should be on that spinoff with Daryl. And I'm going to tell you right now. Nope, it ain't Connie. Not even Mercer. See, most of y'all are assuming it's got to be a woman. If it ain't Carol, it's got to be Connie. How about Aaron? Why don't we put Aaron on a spinoff with Daryl? How cool would that be? And fight some of those creepy walkers. I think Aaron deserves it. Ross Marquand is an amazing actor. Give it to Ross. Do not kill Ross. Put him on there with Norman Reedus. Ross and Norman, I think, would make an incredible spinoff. Because he's such a good actor, and you would get so much good face time. And truth be told, he's one of the best actors on the show. So if you put the spotlight on the two of them, I think it'd be a really, really good spinoff dynamic. So I got my fingers crossed for that one. I hope Melissa said, hey, I'm good. And Ross is like, no, pick me. Exactly. He's got an interest. All right, so here's the breakdown. Tonight, kidnapping. Yumi and Pam. Carol saving Daryl. Eugene jail scene. We've seen Eugene in that role before. Yumi flipping. The whole Lance story. And then the nostalgia at the end of Walking Dead where shoot him in the neck, get in the Jeep, ride off, and then we get to see how the group is being drugged. So overall, I think a very solid episode. Pretty excited to see next week's episode. But I will say this. Next week's episode kind of reminds me of, don't make me do it. The preview kind of reminded me of the Fear episode where they all got to the church. You know what I'm talking about. And we had Morgan. And he got shot. And, you get it. But it did kind of feel like they got to fight their way out. But I'm hoping that because it is almost Halloween, I'm hoping we got some creepy Halloween stuff in next week's episode. That's my hope. Maybe they'll throw us something, a little bit of a callback to Greg Nicotero's horror roots. All right, everybody. Hey, we are 45 minutes in, or 30 minutes in. Sorry, we want to keep it 30 to 45 minutes. So, final thoughts. Do me a favor. Give me one more score. Did your score stay the same? Talking about it, seeing other people's ideas. Did you bump it up a little bit more? I'm going to stay at a solid 8.4. I thought it had all the elements of a good show. I thought it had a little bit of the redundancy of what all shows do, but you have to do that from time to time. But to me, the goods outweighed the the things that you have to do to keep a TV show alive for this long. All right, awesome stuff, everybody. Hey, I want to thank all of you guys for, there you go. Put those numbers in there so everybody can see them. A couple people raised their numbers. I love it. That's why we talk about it. Like, hey, I didn't think about that perspective, that point of view. They actually did it really well. Looking forward to next week's episode. Again, I want to thank all of you guys for being here, talking about our favorite television show. Do not forget, we've got Play Dead Live throughout the week. We got a brand new website we're building for all of you guys that is going to last longer than The Walking Dead. So we'll be talking spinoffs next year. We're going to get all of you guys to come in, see our portal, hang out, do some gaming with us, a little bit of fishing, a little bit of trivia. Trivia could be Walking Dead related. So super, super excited. More to come. I'll give you guys more news every week on that. Otherwise, we will see our Walking Dead fans here next Sunday. We'll see all of our gamers Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So thanks, everybody. Do me a favor, hit the like button and give me a 999 in chat so I can give some shout outs. I got 30 seconds worth of shout outs before I have to sign off, but I'd love to get as many of our supporters, many of your names in tonight's chat for being here, staying up late talking about it. And I do like Talking Dead coming on later. It just gives us a great time to kind of talk between what they talk about. And a lot of times, what we talk about is very similar, so we all see things the same way. So see if tonight on the show, if they allude to anything that we talked about, I'm going to tell you what, here's your homework assignment. If something we talked about gets talked about on Talking Dead, come here next Sunday, write it down, and then leave it, and we'll do some sort of giveaway. But I got a feeling we're going to spot on. Hey, thanks for being here tonight. Good to see you, Matt Musgrave, Liz Burnett, Isaiah, Shaman Sheila, Moonshot, Julia, Harold Evans, a pleasure, Tim Lamora, B-Dub, Deadly Dimes, Busy Bee, Kel, Football Master, Walani, Jesus, Valar, Diana C. Thanks to all of you guys. Appreciate everything that you guys do. Carol Stevens, good to see you as well. I saw Anna Demo a little bit ago. Good to see you as well. So thanks. Appreciate everything you guys do. We'll see you guys next Sunday night. Be here. And we'll see how close we are. Have a good night, everybody. Peace.